We are from Agilemania. We have a community building exercise called Agile30. It's about the community of Agile practitioners, right? So we come together in unique, different ways, right? So we do have meetups, we do have these webinars kind of connecting all the world. Mostly the meetups happen in India and Malaysia as of now. We also have plans to kind of conduct something differently, few different things throughout as well. Yeah, I'm going to talk about some of those unique offerings at the end of my webinar as well. So I'll keep you hooked till then for that, right? So look for Agilemania, look for Agile30, and follow us on various social media, right? So I think we are on everywhere. Agilemania, we are on everywhere. From there, you can lead to everything, right? And at the end, I'm also going to give you a simple and unique mail address to get connected with us. Yeah. So with all that, let me start the day's webinar. We have kept aside an hour and a half. I'm not going to take that much time of yours. I know you're all busy professionals. Thanks a lot for making a time for us. I think 12, 13 of you here making a time for us to listen to this. Yeah, maybe half an hour to 40 minutes is what I'm going to take. Not too many slides. A few things important that we'll talk about. And at certain places, I'll also stop. And if you have some thoughts, if you want to add, if you want to comment, if you have a question, you can always take it there, right? So I think I have 4 slides and 4 opportunities I'll give you in between the webinar for either texting or talking. Yeah. So that way, we'll make up almost an hour, maybe. Yeah. So today's topic, getting into scaling, right? So you can think of in an agile way or a non-agile way also. I've tried to keep it as simple as that. And that's why I'm not introducing you to any frameworks as well, like Scrum, how do you scale, Safe, how do you do it and stuff, because I think, those are few areas that you might be separately interested in, right? What is Scrum? What is Safe? I think we have offerings. You can always contact me as well, or any of my colleagues in Agilemania. I think in the chat window, you do have a way to connect to me on LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn, right? So when we talk about scaling, one of the things that your leaders and your organizations, when I say leaders, don't think about only the CEOs and CTOs. You're also a leader in your own right. You manage certain things. Either you manage the process as a Scrum Master, RTE, or a manager, or you manage the technology as an architect. You manage the content as a product owner, product manager, solution manager, and so on and so forth, right? So when you have this challenge of scaling, I think every organization gets into this point where you are a small company and suddenly you are growing. You have the demand for your products and solutions. That's where you start growing, right? This is where the multiple challenges come in place, and at the same time, one of the things everybody is worried about us. We were efficient as a small company. We were very effective in terms of looking at the customer problem and solutionizing it. What will happen now suddenly if we grow? Again, that growth doesn't have to be only from a people perspective. It could be multiple perspectives, which we will also dwell upon a little bit. So, and also remember, now it's a complex environment. Different geographies have different needs. Different governments will have different compliances and regulations that you need to meet, right? And finally, if you also look at from a technology and today what is happening in the industry in terms of generative AI and stuff, you do see that there is a lot of changes that are happening throughout it. So in this context, how do you work in this complex environment to get the best that we can, right? So that's a topic of discussion for today. Yeah. So a little bit about me. I'm a safe consultant and a professional coach, SPCT from Skill Agile, and professional coach, ICF PCC from International Coaching Federation as well. I've trained more than 4,000 people across the world, plus also consulted for 10 plus enterprises of different and various sizes also. Yeah. So this is a little bit about me, and you can always connect to me on LinkedIn and we can continue the conversation. So what's the agenda for today? As I said, 4 slides and a few bullet points. So one thing I'm going to talk about is agile at scale. As I said, I mean, it may not be just agile. I mean, it might be thinking about, I mean, your organization is growing, what to look for, what are the indicators, right? The real challenges that I have seen on the ground. Again, you can add your own set of challenges as well. Some of the practices that we need to follow to make sure that we can scale efficiently and effectively, and some of the pitfalls to avoid as well, right? So this is where the 4 slides are. With that said, let me get into the story. Yeah. So think about a situation. I guess, I mean, we have around 20 people here. Think about when we all started this call, we were like around 6 people. At 2 o'clock Malaysia time, we were 6 people, including Jane, Renuka, Michelle, and me as well, right? So in that case, maybe conversation and collaboration, even being online, was pretty easy for us, right? So I think I also called out whoever was there initially, their names, and told them that we're just on time, but we'll also wait for 5 minutes. I think mostly many organizations also start like this. Yeah. They start with few friends coming together. I think, I mean, if you look at any examples of Apple, HP, P&G, IBM, any company for that matter, right? So Microsoft, I mean, any company for that matter. If you take the example, few friends came together, they had a problem to solve, and they created some product or a solution, and they started selling. Again, I'm talking about successful companies only as of now, and there are so many others which didn't succeed. That's a different story. And at certain point, when their products become successful, when they have a market, they start scaling up. So now even think about these 20 people. Can I call each one by name and get the things done? It becomes difficult, right? I mean, while I can see all of your name, if I start calling out individually and telling you one instruction, it becomes chaos. While I'm talking to Michelle, all others have to just wait, right? And when I'm talking to maybe Aslan, all others are not interested also. Why should I listen to, right? So this simple problem with 20 people, I mean, now think about 1,000 times more. An organization with 20,000 people. What are all the challenges they will face, right? So this is where my story of that company is this, what to look for. There are multiple dimensions of process, people, and technology. I kind of call it as a PPT, problem of PPT, not the Microsoft PowerPoint, but it's about the people, it's about the process, it's about the technology aspects. Now think about a 5 people company versus even a 20 people company, right? So when you talk about the initial process, initially there was actually no process. 5 of us used to come to office at a certain time. We sit together. We decide what needs to be done next. We have a customer problem. Somebody will go and fix it out. Others will support them. Tomorrow, somebody else will go and fix a different problem. We are easy to work with. The moment we become a 20 people, moment we become a 20,000 people, what happens is we'll have to have a different process sets now. If everybody starts doing everything, there's a chaos. So we want to look for certain processes which can help. Yeah. And from a people perspective, initially, five of us, I mean, when we joined, we were all friends. I mean, kind of, I mean, we know each other almost, like, I mean, maybe from a childhood we know, and or we have met somewhere, and that's why, I mean, we are all together. We understand each other. The tougher days, I mean, when the day is tough, I mean, we still understand each other. When the day is good, I mean, we'll enjoy together and we'll party together, whatever it is, right? Now with 20 people, 20,000 people, different set of people have joined in. Actually, it's a good thing, but at the same time, the cultures are different. I think, I mean, even here on this call, I can actually figure out, I mean, people from 3 or 4 countries minimum. Yeah. So each one of us are joining from a different time zone. Each one of us have a different expectation from this session. Each one of us have a different thought process going on what should we do next, right? The people part becomes, I mean, very crazy to handle, so to say. Technology, I mean, you don't have to ask me, right? So today, generative AI, tomorrow, something else. I mean, we are all worried our jobs will be taken over by machines and we'll be ruled by someone else, and so on and so forth, right? So, uh, again, while we know, I think I have worked for or worked in the industry for close to 24 years now, right? So, I think I'm in a quarter of a century I have worked in this industry. I know for a matter of fact that when I joined, automation was a big thing, and people were telling automation will take away the jobs, but it actually spawned into multiple new jobs. Maybe AI also will do something as long as you learn. Maybe, right? I'm just trying to pacify you with okay a positive direction. And if you think about an agile way of working, or I mean any new way of working, your culture of the organization will be at odds with the philosophy of a new way of working sometimes. What's a culture? It's a set of habits that are formed over a period of time, right? So culture evolves over a period of time. So maybe uh, usually we call it out. This is the culture of this organization, a specific organization. Yeah. So how do we make sure that when we talk about a new way of working and we have currently a culture, how do we balance that one? That kind of is another viewpoint that we need to take about. And as a change agents, remember one thing: we are not talking about changing the culture of the organization. That should be an outcome or an output over a period of time, because the culture of an organization is built over a period of time, right? So it's not that we can't really say the current culture is bad. It's not that, right? We are not talking about that, but rather we're talking about what should be the future for us. And last but not the least, the market changes. Again, so if you look at it in a sense, a market changes. I think, I mean, we are in a pace where it's it's tremendous, and we can't really fathom or we can't really see what would happen tomorrow, right? So this is the kind of a pace we are in. I think, I mean, it's true for every other type of organizations. I think, I mean, as Agilemania, we are into training, consulting, and advisory. We've also seen a tremendous shift in the last 5 6 years, right? So every year has been different. I mean, at the start of the year, we do plan for certain things, but within 3 months, I mean, we realize that we may not be moving in the right direction, and we kind of change the direction, or we cut certain parts or add certain parts as well. Yeah. So with all that thing, so agile at scale, um, again, think of a situation where you are growing from 20 to 20,000 in a span of an year. What would happen to you? So we are looking at some concepts that could be the challenges on the ground, and some concepts that could help us, some of the things that we need to avoid as well. Yeah. So I'll pause here. Any thoughts, any questions, any clarifications? I also see that a question from Vai. Can a squad member be made to deliver two different MVPs simultaneously, different initiatives? While my biased answer is no, don't do that one, because humans are not very good at multitasking. But a reality might be a little different. But if those initiatives are connected in some way, it can use the skill set of the member in a seamless fashion. may be possible, but at the same time, there has to be some guardrails in terms of having a right working agreement on when does that member work on both the things. How do the coordination happen? How do the managers kind of help you to achieve that one as well? May not be the perfect answer. If you want a definite answer from me, again, my own biased answer is a no. But can you make it happen? Maybe yes, in some context. I think when we talk about the people aspect here, sometimes scaling also gets you into this trouble. Say, for example, I'll pick up some random names. Sorry for that one. Maybe my colleagues from Agilemania, I'll pick up their name. Maybe think about Renuka is a person, who has a unique skill. Maybe she is a security expert, right? Our company is going into now different geographies. Yeah, different geographies, and we'll have to kind of look at and we also handle some credit card data and stuff for the payments. Now, maybe Renuka and her team will be pulled everywhere because they are the experts. They have to make sure that there are regulations and compliances that are adhered to. And think about, we are rapidly expanding, but at the same time, we are not able to hire so many in the security team. And so Renuka and her team will be stretched everywhere, right? So we will end up with the similar problem that we talked about now. Yeah. Now, what are the challenges that I see on the ground? I have put broadly into four buckets. You can add your own fifth one, or you can also kind of bifurcate or cut down one of them into two or whatever it is. Right? We do see the cultural shift happening. Yeah. So when we talk about a cultural shift, what do you mean? So as I said, culture of an organization is built over a period of time. Many a times, when you have people from different geographies, different expertise, and different contexts joining the organization, what they believe, what the company believes, and what the market demands, right? So there is a kind of a gap everywhere. I'm not saying it's a problem, but at the same time, we'll have to adjust and accommodate. So these shifts sometimes are very hard for us, right? So even think about it. You kind of like to wake up early and finish your day early. You have a colleague who is super helpful, but they will start late and kind of end up late. And they are also very super, again, very active during the end of the day, right? So by the time you're almost asleep, they're very active, right? So how do we adjust that? Simple things like that, right? And I think the second point, I don't have to really emphasize too much. Technology shifts are rapid. Even the best of the companies also don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You can only talk about it, but not really predict, even with 50% guarantee. Actually, I would say the choices you make about the technology or thoughts you have about the technology, right? You being correct is lesser than your chances of calling out it's a heads or a tail on a coin flip, right? If you are flipping a coin, you will be at least 50% of the time right. If you keep on calling out heads, if you flip out 100 times, almost 50% of the time you will be correct, right? But if you talk about a technology and you make guesses, I think chances of you being correct are not even double digit, maybe, right? So you can be the best technologist in the world, but you can't really make the prediction, right? How do we kind of make it happen? The third one is the ways of working. Somebody calls out Scrum, somebody calls out Safe, somebody says Kanban, somebody says, we'll still work in the same way. Somebody says, okay, we'll do an hybrid approach. And at the end of the day, while we are all working towards a common goal or a common purpose, where it is, kind of shifting from us, right? So that's another thing that we need to look for. That's another problem statement. We need to kind of look at. And finally, the training needs. Why did I put specifically on this one? Can I just put it on ways of working or a people aspect? I put it out specifically because many a times we think that people will automatically learn something on the go. Yeah. We think that people will automatically learn something along the way on the go. It doesn't happen always. Um, Unless, there is a focus on the needs of the training. And remember, I usually give this example. Even the best sportsmen like Messi in football, or in Indian context, Virat Kohli in cricket, they do need training on a day-to-day basis as well, right? So they can't say, I have achieved everything in life. I'm the best person in this game. I can just go and play. No, they need the training as well. If we look at it, right, they train more than others. Maybe that's the factor for their success as well, right? They train more than others. Maybe that's a factor for their success as well. So how do we make sure that this training needs are met? So these are the challenges that I see on the ground. I'm not kind of giving you any answers here on the slide. I'm just calling out the problems, because unless we realize these are the problems, these are hitting us hard, we'll not be able to really put a roadmap around what do we want to do next. Any thoughts here on the challenges that you have seen, or you want to substantiate any of the points here, or you can even refute, saying that it's not a problem?
I think these are all relevant points. The only other one which comes to my mind is how the organization is structured, or how the roles and responsibilities are in the organization, and from a
Hmm.
traditional sense to the new evolving organization structuring. I think how
Hmm.
easy or how difficult it is for change to happen, or and for people to drive the change. Yeah,
Yeah,
possibly it's under their ways of working. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But it's a, organization design and organization structure is another topic for the day as well, right? So it's a big, big topic.
Yeah, the reason I called it out is because I've seen many organizations who want to stick to their same structure, but they want people to change their ways of working.
Yeah,
Now,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
so it can't happen in one-sided way that way. Right?
sure. Yes. Any other thoughts? You can also put it on the chat.
Similarly, as I mentioned just now, I can put short thoughts as well. Um, you are right. Just now, what the colleague just said, I think it's Rajiv, I think. Uh, there is
Yeah.
this general consensus. People think that we are supposed to deliver two different initiatives
Hmm.
or two MEPs simultaneously.
Hmm.
Uh, and I think that's pretty ridiculous because we are doing retrospective, we're doing the product backlog for both sides. It's
Hmm.
ridiculous. They think
Yeah.
there's a BAU, they want us to change to agile, but they want to do their old ways. So that's
Hmm.
something I don't know why leaders don't get things and say that they know what they're doing,
Hmm.
proclaim they know what they're doing, but they don't know. Something that we are having a problem with.
Sure.
The other
Yeah,
thing, Ashwin, which comes to my mind is sometimes I feel a bit scared when I see the word training, because lot of organizations believe, and it is reality, that yes, I will make you go through 15 hours of training, or whatever, 15 days of training,
Hmm.
and yes, you're agile certified, and now you start being agile, so what else you need from me?
True.
Now
Yeah.
that's the
And
biggest
also,
mistake an organization can create. So it's about the culture, it's about the organization structure, it's about carrying that agile way of working and making it easier, and in the environment conducive to carrying it.
exactly. And also, remember, just attending a training will not guarantee that, you will be the master of that field, right? Many a time, we think a training is the end, while it's actually the start. And uh, I have some practices to follow. Again, this doesn't have to be in an agile way of working. Anything that you do, right? So you have to have a demos as a mechanism of feedback and celebration. Many a time when we talk about demos as a feedback only, right? But think about demos as a celebration. And remember, I'm not talking about demo at the end of the sprint. Demo has to come. What I have not written on the slide and what needs to be done is demo has to come in different ways. So maybe me and Rajiv have built a certain aspect of the solution in the team. Our team is this 20 people, right? So 23 people here. Yeah. We have built a small component out of it. can I go and show to my product owner or business owner, whoever is the authority there, right? A small thing that I've done, why should I stop from showing it to them and get an early feedback around that one? I don't have to involve all the 20 people here, but I mean, informally, I'm going to show it to them. And if they kind of give a feedback or if they give a go ahead, I'm going to make it visible for everyone as well, right? So, and also many a times, I mean, demos are a stressful event. This is what I'm seeing many a times in the agile teams. When you talk about a demo, it's on a Friday evening. I don't know why. Again, my biased opinion. Most teams prefer to start on a Monday and end on a Friday. And Fridays are always the demo. And Friday evening, when everybody is thinking about Saturday and Sunday, you have the demos coming up. Um, I have seen it again. I have seen the organizations or the teams which are taking Thursday to Wednesday or Wednesday to Tuesday as a sprint length, right? So they are a little better off in that. I mean, there's a small anecdote there, right? And make these demos as a celebration for you. It is not that you kind of are showcasing something and somebody is there to pinpoint or finger at you on your mistakes and problems and what is not working. It's not about that one. Yeah, demos are a mechanism for a feedback. Yes, it could be positive. It could be certain ways negative. It could be thinking about, I mean, the betterment of you, and it has to be a celebration because you have showed something useful or you think it is useful. So demos have to be a mechanism for a celebration. So end with again, I'm just being what do you say, a little bit of a funny that end with a round of an applause or end with calling out, I mean, certain anecdotes at the end of the demo. Make sure that the teams are celebrating together. It's not about an event where we are all trying to showcase something and getting a feedback and not being happy. Yeah, the retrospectives, I have a smile always when I talk about retrospectives because that's the first event that is sacrificed when you have a crunch. Yeah, you always think about, okay, anyway, we have been doing retrospective. This time, I mean, we are busy. There is also a priority one defect came in. We had to sort it out immediately. There are so many things on our plate. We'll have to clear it off. So why don't we skip the retrospective today and do it in the next sprint together? That next sprint, I mean, kind of happens to be the next sprint, and I mean, it never happens. Or even if it happens, you do it for the sake of doing it, correct? So retrospective, you'll always have to think about a mechanism to tune and adjust. Think about it this way. I think, I mean, we always have a vehicle. I mean, most of us have, again, own a vehicle, right? A car or a bike or something. That's all. Yeah. If you don't keep that car in a proper condition, when you get out of the house and you have to go to the office, what's a guarantee that it will start? What's a guarantee that it will start? Yeah. So think about this. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. You have to reach office by 9 o'clock. Usually you take around 35 to 40 minutes to go to office. So that's why, I mean, you start at 8 so that, I mean, by 8:45 maximum, you are at office. Yeah. That's what, I mean, you have adjusted. If there is no guarantee that the car will start, or, I mean, if there is only 50% of the chance that the car will start, right, you are never going to reach office. I think, I mean, retrospective is that mechanism. You're not doing it for the sake of doing it. I mean, you're doing a retrospective to make sure that the car or your team can restart well every other time without failure. Yeah. Maybe there is always a 0.001% chance of, I mean, your car not starting, and on that day, you will take a different action. That's why, I mean, you have kept that 15-minute buffer. You would take a public transport or, I mean, metro or whatever it is, right? Maybe you will do that one. But think about retrospective as a mechanism for you to tune and adjust. Remember, I mean, if you are thinking about a previous slide, I mean, we have been talking about so many things shifting under your feet, right? Continuously. So how do we make sure that these retrospectives are helping us? The last but not the least, I'm kind of, again, reiterating this point, continuous learning culture. It doesn't mean, like Rajiv said, it doesn't mean that you send someone to a training program, they get a certification at the end of the second day and they come back and you expect them to suddenly operate at 300% efficient than they were yesterday. It doesn't happen. Yeah, you need to have formal and informal mechanisms to help people learn. Right, learning should be ingrained within your uh, development and delivery as well. So yes, I go to a program, a boot camp, a 1 day program, or a certification program. I learn certain things. The moment I'm back at the organization, I should have a placeholder or a place where I can actually utilize some of the things that I have learned, try it out, yeah, figure it out. Sometimes I might fail, but I also fail fast so that I can learn fast as well. And over a period of time, that informal way of working together, right, that kind of helps me there. Usually we call it out as like 70-20-10 rule in some of the organizations, right? 70% is by actually working on it, yeah. 20% maybe, by teaching around and, kind of discussing and deciding. Yeah. 10%, could be around a formal education, like a degree or a certificate that you get to. Yeah. So while you go learn something new, you'll also have to explore with others. You'll also have to use it on a day-to-day basis as well. It could be as simple as using a macro in an Excel sheet. Think about it, right? Unless, how do you construct the macro, but unless you use it on a real data and try to gather some information, it doesn't work out.
I think, so Bhamang saying, but retrospective sometimes when you say, when we speak the truth, unfortunately, sometimes people get hurt. We're supposed to be honest, truthful, and open, right? But
Yeah.
sadly, some people will get offended. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that team camaraderie might actually be impacted. So how do we solve this kind of issues?
I have a suggestion for you. This is from a book called Creativity Inc. That's from Ed Catmull, who is the CEO of Pixar. What he says is, don't be honest, be candid.
Can you
Honesty.
elaborate?
Yeah. So I think, again, there is a little bit of a subtle difference between being honest and being candid, right? So again, this is my biased opinion as well. In a, I think, in a professional setup, it doesn't work to call out something as we feel, maybe, right? Because that might be my feeling, and while I think this is an honest thing and an open thing, it might not be felt so with others. And I think, we also have the same feeling from others. But at the same time, when you are saying candid, you are not talking about your opinion, but rather, you are talking about a situation, right? So can we talk about a situation that has happened and just put out the facts without even without having those emotions and without having those what do you say, uh, I strongly connect to, that might work better. And at the same time, it's also not that, you are not being really honest. You're being honest, but you are putting a wrapper around your messaging on, putting it in a maybe a right way. Because like it or not, again, my biased opinion, like it or not, the moment you tell something honestly, everybody else will become defensive. I think, we also become defensive when somebody tells a harsh feedback or something harsh, which might be true, might not be true. So that's a human tendency and a nature, I guess, that we become defensive very easily. So you can't expect everyone to be openly admitting what is happening on the ground, even if it doesn't matter to them, right? So the candidness is about being just stating the facts and kind of laying out, okay, this is what I believe.
So given the example that I spoke about and how I disappointed with the leaders who assign a squad member to two different MVPs. Obviously, to say honestly, I would say that I'll tell you this: ridiculous. You're not being agile. You have not realized the implications of your thing. That's the honest way, lah. So you're saying the candid way is to say, dear gentlemen, unfortunately, by putting two retrospective, two MEPs to one singular person, it has unfortunately resulted in the failure of both initiatives. Is that the better way? Is that how you're saying the candidate should be?
Yeah, that can be a way. And also look at the other side's perspective as well. Why those leaders are, pushing you to do two MEPs at the same time? What is it that that kind of is hampering them to actually do it, right? If you actually can get it, and maybe the priority within those two MVPs, can you schedule it one after the other, some way or the other, right? Or can I have someone else from some other team who might be willing to help, or willing to support us, right? So can we look at those options? So you're talking about options now, or a win-win situation rather than a win-lose or a lose-win kind of a situation.
It also, hey, I'm sorry.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, Kishore.
I guess it also depends from the relationship that Scrum Master or the facilitator builds with the team.
Yes,
they get
exactly.
they get used to the team's culture. They get used to the team's way of communication.
Yeah.
So as Y, I'm sorry if I'm naming him incorrectly. So what Y has just claimed or just announced, like people get offended once they get to hear some real thought. So what, in my observation, what I have seen, it depends on the team to team. It depends on the
Yeah.
people working in the team. So sometimes they cater to the need of coming up correctly. What you observe about the working within the sprint? What did you observe? What went wrong? What didn't go well? So they would like to hear the exact thing instead of going round the way and coming up to the point. So they like to hear the correct thing. So, and another thing, whenever it comes to retrospective, right? So in my opinion and in my observation, people take it as a kind of fun retrospective. They more sort of focus on the making it fun way of doing retrospective rather than on the right approach. So in my experience, in my knowledge, or how I do retrospective, instead of making it fun, I basically make it a point of continuous learning, what exactly we are going to achieve in this half an hour, 1 hour, whatever is the duration of my retrospective.
Sure.
So another thing I'd like to highlight on demos, like when we talk about demos, again in my observation and in my knowledge, so demo becomes a kind of burden. I don't think it should become a burden, like, hey, prepare PPTs, prepare Word document, have this document, have that document. Let it be a kind of running, whatever there is in your system. Show it to the world, show it to the stakeholder, whatever is there, whatever you have worked on during the sprint, 15 days of 10 days of sprint. Why don't you show it directly to the stakeholders? What's wrong with that? So that kind of transparency should be there within the team, within the management, to accept what team is doing and what team has to showcase.
Yeah.
These are points that I'd like to add here,
Sure.
based on my experience. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. And if I want to call out some things to avoid, this is what is it. Again, I'm just putting out a few things from my assignments. One is the complacency, right? Because things will keep moving. You can't really what worked yesterday may not work today, and will definitely won't work tomorrow, right? So that's where you'll have to have that constant sense of a danger or an urgency that should be there always, right? And many a time, we kind of think about everything as a black and white, right? So either this or that. Make sure, or remember that there are 50 shades of gray in between. Right? So to call out, yeah. So any problem statement will not have or may not have a definitive yes or a no answer. It could be somewhere in between. So make sure to avoid having only the best case and the worst case scenarios, right? And the last but not the least, the urgency. It looks like everything is urgent. it looks like everything is important, right? It always is, right? I mean, even if you ask from the customer perspective, 10 customers will say one way, the other 10 will be in another way, other 10 will be in another way. So, what you can avoid today, what you can't avoid today, I mean, that should be something, I mean, you'll have to make a choice. Yeah. If you think about everything as things to do, you will always be unhappy. I mean, there is always that tyranny of urgency, as we call. I mean, you'll always be on the run, really actually ending up not doing anything. I mean, simple thing that I talked about two MEPs. I mean, simple thing like two MEPs parallelly. End of the day, I mean, you may not get both of them out, or I mean, both of them will fail. Rather than, I mean, at least one of them working out to an extent, or at least one of them giving you a suggestion that it might not work, right? So, yeah,
Ashwini,
yeah.
can you repeat again about this, that complacency? I didn't catch you.
Yeah, complacency is thinking about, okay, we are, say, doing Scrum today. It is working perfectly fine for us. Everything is going smooth and we are happy. We'll just keep doing what we are doing. That's a complacency. You get into a place of, okay, comfort zone, so to say.
Ashwini, one other thing which I've seen is the there is a inherent behavior which sets in when you start agile in your organization, that yes, experimentation is key and you can keep on experimenting. Now, yes, you need to experiment, no doubt about it. You need to have triage, you need to go through the problem statement again, you need to get your learnings in and try it all over again.
Yeah.
But at a certain stage, and this is probably the product owner's role, is to say that, well, do we move on in this direction or do we alter directions and pick up something else? So
I would, yeah.
Yeah. So that decision of what you think is going to work and what is not going to work, that key point in time, that decision is important.
Exactly. And again, I mean, it's about the experimentation as well, right? And also remember, when we talk about an experimentation, you can't take years to do that one. Yeah. It has to be as quick as possible. It has to be quick and dirty, I would say.
Yep.
It's okay to be wrong, but be wrong very quickly.
That's right.
So don't spend time and be wrong. So, by the way, this is what I had. And this is a call for action slide. I have launched a few one-day workshops. There are 4 workshops: design thinking, there is value stream mapping, there is agile portfolio management, and product thinking. Right? Each one of them are a one-day course on first Saturday, Sunday, and the fourth Saturday, Sunday. Anything that interests you, you might want to register. Right? I mean, you can look at again. Send a mail at ask@agilemania. They will help you. Right? So these are marked at uh, 30 ringgits, or Indian rupees 500 per session, right? Or I mean similar in the US dollars and Great Britain pounds as well. And also I've launched another one, Enterprise Agile Coaching Bootcamp, leading to 3 certifications from IC Agile, which is a 12-week long journey. We're going to meet from May, I think 2nd of May, which is a Thursday, every month, every week, 3 hours. And with some more assignments, it will be a 12-week long session, right? So if you're interested there, you can also look out for these things. And as I said, a simple way is to send a mail to ask@agilemania.com. You can just say, call me back. Right? Or if you want to talk to me also, either ask@agilemania.com or connect to me on LinkedIn. Happy to connect for 5-10 minutes and see what works out for us. And by the way, end of it, I mean, you don't have to give us a business. It's perfectly fine. I'm not selling anything, but connections are important. And that's where I initially, when I said 4,000 plus people, I have a list of all of them with their, again, most of them are connected to me on LinkedIn as well. We keep in touch, try to keep in touch.
Hey Ashwini, can you please highlight something on Enterprise Agile Coach Bootcamp?
Yeah, that's a 12-week long boot camp, not a training session, where every week, we'll meet for 3 hours. I think Thursday, 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock India time in the evening. That's what I have set it out as. Where we'll talk about certain aspects, again, taken from three courses from IC Agile, Business Agility Foundation, Enterprise Coaching, and also Coaching Agile Transformation. That's on the Enterprise Coaching track, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of it, you are also eligible to take the certifications on those three. Plus, the important thing is this will be a Scrum team sized cohort, like not more than 10, 12 people. That's what we are envisioning. And more than just the discussions and the training during the 3 hours, we'll also have assignments in terms of blogs and a project work out of this cohort also.
Yep, got it. Yeah. Thanks.
It's charged, but we are giving a kind of a heavy discount on this one. We want to build this community, right? Because next month we are also going to launch something exciting. So this is in preparation to that one as well. Renuka and others are nodding, but they don't know what it is. So, okay, any questions, any thoughts, anything that you want to discuss before we end the day?
Hello. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the topic just now. The topic is called maximizing efficiency and effectiveness in complex environment. So
Yeah.
your suggestion is to look at the challenge, the practice to follow, and also pitfalls to avoid.
Yes,
So
exactly.
what kind of complex environment that we have now?
Sorry, the last sentence. Can you repeat
Oh,
it?
because the title of your topic is on maximize efficiency effectively in complex environment. So what kind of complex environment that we are facing now?
Okay. See, it could be something like 4 years back. One fine day, COVID happened and we couldn't come to office, right? And if you look at every other company is now behind generative AI, what it could mean for us, right? And tomorrow, actually, you don't know what will be your industry turning on. If I look at specifically Malaysia and oil and natural gas, I think 10 years back, oil and natural gas was again a booming industry. I think even today. But at the same time, if you look at renewable energy, has come in as again a dent, right? If you look at the fintech companies now, there are so many startups with 4 or 5 people who kind of are having the solutions and products which the major banks don't have.
Okay, noted. Thanks for the samples.
Yeah, those are some of the examples, right? Thanks a lot. If there is any feedback, I would love to hear, or love you to put it on the chat, or even send it at ask@agilemania.com as well. Right, so it'll be pretty helpful. And if you have any topic in mind, we are happy to welcome those topics as well.